What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to our Tuffy Talk live show, y'all. A little bit less. I just noticed Greg's tag that says Greg Gillette currently depressed. I love it. Yeah, no, definitely a little bit up. Hold on. I didn't hear you. What'd you say, Kens?
I said, okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk a little. We'll talk a lot about it here today for sure. But yeah, definitely a little bit less pep in the step for sure here today. And again, we'll be discussing all things about the Tennessee game, but also two other NC State sports as well. As again, life, especially here at Tuffy Talk, doesn't revolve around just one sport for sure. But first of all, y'all, you're depressed. I'm sorry, you are depressed, but you're also muted. There's Mike.
How about I depress the mute button? I said, how about that soccer?
Yeah, hey, I'm telling you, man, watch out for my cover. I'm telling you exactly. Yeah, men's soccer. But first and foremost, y'all, I got to go a little bit off a tangent before we dive deep into this and jump into immediately
You know what really grinds my gears?
And this is related to all of my fantasy football players out there, y'all. And this is going to hit a hard one, y'all, because it literally just happened to me about an hour ago. So literally,
Christian McCaffrey,
revolving around Christian McCaffrey. But literally, I'm in a league full of close family friends that we just talk all kinds of smack to each other. It's a pretty large buy-in league. I won't say exactly how much, but first week, y'all.
$5.
Yeah, no, not a little bit more than that. But first week, y'all, I'm down by 15 points, have Christian McCaffrey, and all like for the last 2 weeks, he even states himself that he is going to play. And, reports come in from Kyle Shanahan saying that he's more likely going to be able to get his normal workload. Shouldn't be a problem. That all of a sudden, an hour before game time, he gets ruled inactive. And all of my players have played. I have an IR spot already filled with TJ Hawkinson because this league requires you to have 2 tight ends. So I took TJ. So literally the only option I have is to drop him and pick up Jordan Mason or hold on to him and lose the week. So I needed 15 points from him, so it wasn't like a guaranteed win, but it's Christian McCaffrey. If it's 15 points,
he would have gotten 15
about that. Yeah, exactly. So
it was a guarantee.
Well, all I gotta say is at least you could play in your league this week.
Ooh. Well, hey, you know what, Greg? Maybe if you weren't such a diehard, and spend a little bit more time at home, worrying about fantasy football, right? You know what I mean?
Right,
maybe if you weren't such a fan. Jeez, Greg. How dare you?
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway, y'all, just wanted to share that real quick. But yeah, no, Ricky Jones saying, "What's up? Go Pack." Michelle saying, "Good, marvelous Monday." Again, just we'll definitely talk about it for sure.
Wait, do we have a grind my gear section tonight?
I started it. So do you want to get started? Do you want to go and jump into yours?
I think yours and mine are the same, Ken's.
Exactly.
I really
Yeah,
just need
hold on. We need the lead in.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Thank you.
people on Twitter and every social media platform. Leave these guys alone. It's annoying. The fact that it's week 2 and you're already counting these guys out is frustrating as hell to me, because it's like no one thought we were going to beat Tennessee anyway. So why is it that when we lose to Tennessee, now everybody's freaking out? Everybody had us out anyway.
I
But
think it was how we
it
lost.
was how we lost,
Exactly.
yes. But then again, you don't need, if you're one of those fans that's going into DMs of players and deliberately trying to tear them down, please let me hold the door for you to leave this fan base, because that is not the standard for Wolfpack Nation. The players that come to state, the fact that I had 3 this week alone say that it sucks when the fans they ride for us when we're up and they hate us when we're down. And I'm like, that's not how this whole fan base is. So the fact that players are starting to think of that week 2, not good for us, not good for the program, for recruiting, for transfers, for anything. So it's like, what are you trying to accomplish? All you're doing is tearing these guys down, getting in their heads. That's probably going to make them not play well the rest of the weeks. So just shut the hell up. Thank you.
Well, so Greg, you want to add anything to it? Go ahead, bud.
I mean, you're right. Look, it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be, as I put it, currently depressed. That's okay. That's okay. Even constructive criticism, I think, is okay. When you're a fan, that obviously we all know that that's short for fanatical. So you're gonna have that fringe part of the fan base, and that's all right. But I just hope that these athletes and coaches, I think, I have my own personal rule. I stay off 24 hours after a loss. I just stay off. I don't comment. You get things in the moment where you just, say things and you nothing good comes of it, because here's the thing. Everything on Twitter now, someone's going to take a snapshot of it. It's there forever. Whether you delete it or not, people will take snapshots and they will come back with those receipts and it will be ugly.
Oh, I know about receipts. I know about paying for receipts. That's for
yeah.
sure.
I mean, it happens. I think we've all said things, and people come back at you later. And again, I know these guys are getting paid now with NIL, but they're still 18 to 22, 23-year-old guys that are still trying to figure it out
and giving their all for us
as
well. Like, not like they're playing for us every Saturday. Like, they're trying to put on a show for us.
Yeah.
So talking down to them is not what we need to be doing.
Yeah.
And that's my thing too. I do agree with you, Ken, that going after them personally, in DMs or even just in general on social media is not the way to do it. And that's why, like, for me, like, if I'm gonna talk about player personally, I'm gonna talk about them not on social media, because it can be taken 100% the wrong way. So I'm gonna do it right here on a live show where I can explain. Like, for example, go ahead, Greg.
No, let's okay to talk about individual players, but please come at it from a factually based, not opinion, but state facts, right? Correct. I always say you can't argue facts, and I know you can twist facts and twist numbers how you want, but if you come up with, a play in particular that this guy did not give effort, or this guy missed a block, or, he threw it right, interception right to the other team, like whatever that is, you can say, hey, he was not good. He was, I'm not talking about anyone. I'm just giving an example here. He was 10 of 40 in the passing department. That's just not good. Unless those 10 receptions are for 400 yards, that's just not good. Just let your opinions become facts. It's okay. You can point out problems. That's okay. That's what we need to do. This country is great. Everyone has the First Amendment, but remember, with the First Amendment comes consequences.
That's right. Yeah. No, I mean,
welcome, Michael.
Yeah, what's up, bud?
Michael came in at the worst time.
The Constitution.
That was funny.
Yeah, you didn't know this was a political, or not a political, but a governmental.
Shout out to Michael for always having my back on Twitter. He is always there to like the stuff that I tweet, whether anything's coming at me or not. I appreciate you, Michael.
Hey, Michael, double check that you're using the right microphone as well.
Yeah, no, it sounds weird to me.
You're good. But while you do that, so I mean, Like, yeah. First of all, I want to give, speaking of keeping receipts, just for those listening that may or watching even that don't know, what I'm talking about here. So I put out a tweet with a screenshot of the college game day guys, all of them picking Tennessee, and said keeping receipts and .. hashtag no respect, hashtag underdog. Literally, y'all, from the third quarter through my sleeping, through my waking on Sunday, nonstop. Literally had 471 comments. 471 comments on it.
And I'm sure 470 of them were from Vols fans.
Exactly. The
And
one
they're
of them being
all like fake profiles.
Well, the one other one was probably your mom saying it's okay, Leighton.
That's what I was about to say jokingly, but I didn't want people to actually think that my mom was like,
no, that's completely joking. Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, and hey, listen, like, first of all, because some couple people were saying, delete it. Like, there's still time to delete it. I'm sitting here like, why delete it? Who cares?
We're in the
It shows you're
engagement
soft.
game.
Yeah, it shows you're soft if you delete it.
Well, and also too, I mean, like, so because there's difference between clickbait and like, again, there was like I didn't do it for clickbait.
Yeah,
I did it because I legitimately was like, wow, dang, like, we didn't get like no love at all whatsoever. And so hey, listen, I'm gonna eat my words and take it. And hey, listen, I'm sorry that I believed in my team, but I mean, I'm still gonna believe my team. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? I'm an NC State fan through and through.
And I
through
feel
the
like
ups and downs. So
some Tennessee fans that are commenting are like, "What? I'm guessing now you're not a State fan." It's like, no, I completely stand by what I said. I fully believed we were going to win that game.
Why do I need to keep talking about it?
Right?
I mean,
it's 3 days later. Let it go.
Well, and that's why, like, it's funny. So my wife, I showed her like that tweet, and then she started looking at some of the other stuff I tweeted, and she saw that after the pick six was thrown, how I literally just said one word, and it was the F word, and she was like, "Can you do that?
Can you do that?"
I saw it too, and I knew it was Leighton, and I was about to. Oh wait,
yeah, it's fine. We can keep talking about it.
My fault, guys.
Good.
Internet
I was about to text you and be like, Leighton, no profanity, remember?
Yeah, no.
I'm always
anyway, so my wife was like, "Can you say that?" And I was like, "Babe, when you throw a pick six on on Tennessee's 10-yard line that goes all the way back, there's only one word I can say, and I'm not one. There's only one word,
On that
we
pick
all
six,
said that word at the same time.
Yeah.
I went back through all my tweets from the week and just mute this conversation, mute this conversation. I don't even want to go back and look at them.
and even after the game, I was even thinking about like doing like a post game live stream, and I was like, I even texted Michael about possibly doing it. And thank God he didn't answer, because if he would have said yes, I probably would.
I know you called me, and I just didn't have time to answer you. I was cleaning up the tailgate. So
that was just simply because I had to get up for church early. I was like, I need to talk to somebody before I go to bed.
Sorry, it was not your emotional support.
Exactly. I just need the emotional support. So, yeah. But anyway, though, so let's get to a couple comments.
I just have a question. I just have a real quick question for the chat, real quick. I'm sorry. Just bear with me.
Okay.
How many days has it been since UNC beat us? Okay. Have a nice night.
Real day, Ray. We appreciate you tuning in, even though you're trying to hype up UNC over us, and even though you haven't really. I mean, okay, you beat Minnesota on the road.
Congratulations.
Solid win for sure. And again, we'll talk about that here today as well. Because I mean, Dorn, it's been too long, if ever, that Dorn's really had a really big win on the road or neutral site. So, we'll talk about that here a little bit. To go a couple comments here. Brandon saying 143 yards of total offense compared to Dylan Sampson rushing for 132 yards alone. I need say no more. I completely agree. D-Rip saying, so how about those classy Tennessee fans?
It was rough.
I would not put those two words together.
It's rough, but
it was sarcasm, Ken.
I know, but I'm just saying, there are some.
I was walking in the stadium. I got 4 middle fingers, and I didn't even engage with them. I didn't even say a thing to them.
At them. I was so close to pulling to Georgia and barking at some of them. I really was. They were getting on my nerves.
Yeah. Oh, hey, it's just like what was it right here? Conjecture, warning. Every big fan base has, a little bit less than 50 loudmouths. No, there's more than 50 loudmouths, but they're unfortunately prolific posters. So, yeah, no, I mean, it's just, hey, listen, Can't control it. It is what it is. Yeah. I mean, we knew we were getting, honestly, like, because here's my thing too. I love that they were so passionate about that, the game with us. It's not like they didn't care. They obviously cared a lot.
Didn't care. I thought we weren't, you know what?
I mean, they cared a lot. They cared a lot. So it was just after they put a whooping on us, you're like, oh, it was easy.
You're done, son. Just
right.
This
dude's delusional.
Don't make me just
pull
up some receipts. Like y'all have gotten blown out more than you need to know about.
We beat you with our 4th string quarterback. Need I say no more?
You still tweeting? 5110 UNC would never. Oh, come on now, bro.
With your quote unquote Heisman quarterback. Take a seat.
Yeah. I love it. And Chilton's saying it's inconceivable to me that grown adults would DM a college football player with anything but encouragement, get an actual life. We all love the Wolfpack, but it is a game. Now, I do want to say one thing, that I think that this is, the part of the negative of the NIL world, where you can almost argue now with the amount of money that has been raised specifically for football, that the fans, you could say, have more stock, have more quote unquote ownership over the football program in the sense of like, now I have much more money invested in the program and the success of the program for sure. And so now I know I would say that most of that negative is really towards the coaching staff, because now when you see results like this, I'm looking at Doran saying, I mean, you asked for all this money and you were able to go get these players, and so therefore I expect better than what we saw last year, or what we've even seen over his tenure. Because I'm also sitting here saying, what is your excuse for losing 51-10? I know that here's the thing that bugs me too, is that he always loves to defer to at the end of the day, the loss is on me. Which, yes, I get it. The loss is on you. Like we get it. But at the end of the day, like it gets old. You know what I mean? It's just okay, it's too much. Like at the end of the day, I'm sitting here saying, what is your excuse for losing 51-10? Like you have the talent, you're healthy, you're a neutral site. You had 10 days to prepare for them. They only had 7 days to prepare for you. So what's the excuse? You know what I mean? Like why? Like what is it that's going to be better next year? If I get better players, I'm going to be better. I'm going to play better. So if I get even better players than what I have right now, does that mean that you only lose by 2 touchdowns to them? Like, what is it going to be? So that's why I'm honestly, and then we'll kind of get to this, but I really do say that this Clemson game, and I'm not looking ahead, but this Louisiana Tech game, but specifically this Clemson game, is huge. It is by far now the biggest game of Doran's tenure. No doubt about it, all day long. And because if you lose this game, then you can literally go win out the rest of the way. And I'm still saying, well, you still don't have that signature win. Where's that signature win? You know what I mean? So and especially now with how the Tennessee game played out. Like, cause that's my other thing too, Greg, is I'm saying now with how the Tennessee game played out, you need that okay, now it's worth it. Now all this investment, all this putting in, all this hype is actually worth it. It actually has some meat to it. Because also too, if you don't win this Clemson game, I mean, running out the rest of the way is, especially with how balanced the ACC looks this year, is
I mean,
not very likely, but we'll see.
We play Cal. I feel like they're gonna be ranked. No, I mean, we have multiple chances for top 25 wins, but it's just like,
sure,
it doesn't even matter about top 25 wins at this point.
Yeah, it's just
go win the ACC.
I was telling people today that it's kind of like this is the Duke game last year. Like, how are we going to take, like Greg said, how are we going to take it? Are we going to go down one way where we improve and get our crap together? Or are we just going to be like 2019 and give up on the entire season? So it's like, what are we going to do?
And Michael, let me ask you this question, then Greg, I'll let you jump in right after. Who are the leaders on this team? Because that's honestly a question I'm still asking you. Who are the leaders on this team? Did you feel like you saw leadership in that game or over the last 2 games?
Is that a question for Michael?
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, the only, like, obviously we don't know what happens in the locker room and off the field, but visibly on the field, I feel like the only person I've seen is Davin Van.
100%. Davin Van, yes.
Made some big plays, showed some emotion.
Made a big play there on the pick six for sure.
Yep.
Agreed.
I don't know. Beyond that, it's hard to say without being in the locker room, because especially after a loss like that you really find out who the leaders are then.
And that's what. And Greg, I want to kind of hear your thoughts too. But I feel like that one of the biggest reasons I truly do put so much stock in Peyton Wilson and what he did, not only in the locker room, but what he did publicly, like calling out the fans like that, as maybe harsh as it seemed at the time. Like, there's no doubt the players had to see that and be like I'd go to battle with this dude. Like I'd go to war with this dude right here. I mean, the fact that he was so willing to back up his own players publicly like that, at Duke, but also too after the one game as well where Brandon got booed. Was it Marshall? I think it was Marshall game. So that's honestly what I'm looking for. I'm sitting here saying, hey, listen, I love that Doran still, and rightfully so, still publicly, has 100% confidence in Grayson McCall for sure. But now I'm sitting here saying, okay, Grayson, there's no doubt about it. You would 100% admit to it that was not a great game for you. That was arguably even not really a good game for you for sure. Because I mean, after you threw that pick six, it was just like the lights just went out, unfortunately, for Grayson.
Yeah, the air in the balloon was completely deflated after that point. It was a tale of two halves.
Yep. So Greg, what would you say to that as well in terms of what you've seen from leadership so far and what you need to see from leadership, probably heading into this Louisiana Tech game?
Yeah, sitting behind the bench on Saturday night, I didn't see a lot. I did see Davin Van trying to rally the troops, and I didn't like some of the body language that I saw, especially in the late third quarter, fourth quarter. A couple of those plays where I thought players could have made a play, it felt like an effortless play. I don't want to say that it was, but in the real time. And I haven't gone back and watched the game yet because, like I said, I gave myself a 24-hour rule. I will look at it again this week. In the real time, it looked like players might have been giving up, but then again, seeing things live speed, they don't always tell the picture, especially when you can see it on TV and rewind it a couple times. So before I pass judgment, I definitely want to go look at it. But it was severely disappointing. As much red that was in that stadium, and that was kind of one of the coolest things that I've seen.
100%.
And the band was solid.
We were louder than Vol Nation multiple times.
Yeah, I expected more, given that how expensive the damn tickets were. Having to drive 7 hours. I wanted to win. I'm 0-4 or 5 in that stadium now. If it wasn't for the streak, I've now hit 30 games in a row. I probably won't go back to that stadium again. Yeah. It's just disappointing. I definitely want to get some of these questions in the chat. There's a lot of good stuff out there, so we should probably hit those up.
Agreed. Let's see. Here's a question from Michelle. Is a nice offensive game plan too difficult, or is execution just bad? So here, let me say one thing real quick, Greg, and I'll let you, because I know I've talked a lot so far, so I know you to back up. But here's one thing I'll say is that going into the season, what did we say about Grayson McCall? He just needs to go be a game manager. He doesn't need to go be Superman. He doesn't need to be Brian Armstrong. He doesn't need to carry the team. Just go out there and just run the plays effectively, take care of the ball. And what was he also most known for coming out of Coastal Carolina? His ability to take care of the ball. I mean, the most interceptions he thrown in one season was 6, and that was last year under a new offensive scheme. And before that, he never threw more than 3 interceptions in one season. And so far, I'm going to say, thrown 2 pick sixes. I know the first game, it wasn't a pick six, but it was basically there. It was, and again, I mean, fumbling the ball twice and back-to-back drives on the first play in the second half. It's just, and again, the pick six, I'm sitting here saying, listen, I get it, but you're on the 10-yard line. You don't need to force anything. That was just so frustrating. Cause again, it was literally just a whoop, and it just didn't need to go there. So, it was a hard throw too, because he had to throw high enough to throw over the defender.
Yeah, he
lobbed obviously
it.
Not far enough to
I just don't understand. And it had to be a pretty big overthrow because Justin Jolie is 6'5", 6'6".
Exactly.
He's not a short guy. So
agreed.
That's the one of the things.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the one of the things I've noticed. Like, I just not sure. Again, I'm not trying to criticize. I'm just trying to figure out. Like,
what's the problem?
I haven't been impressed with the way McCall has thrown the ball yet.
No.
It just
he's just not fully comfortable.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's coming off the injury last year or moving up a level. It's probably a combo of both. New receivers and everything, new team, but I feel like there's enough there for him, enough history with him that at this point it's way too early to write him off.
Exactly.
I think he'll figure it out. It just will happen sooner or later.
I mean, the thing about a nice offense, it's more of like it's not executed poorly. It's kind of like last year. You know who the ball is going to. If it's passed, you know it's most likely going to Casey.
Please.
And I talked to Trent today. He was at the game, Trent Pennix, and he said when DeMarcus Jones, number 28, goes in, you know he's blocking and it's a run play. Like, you've got to switch it up. You've got to figure out. We have Noah Rogers, Justin Jolie, all of these guys. Like, use them. But I think that he's just focused on using Casey. And I don't get. And the one time he should have thrown it to Casey was for the pick 6 because Casey was wide open in the end zone. That's what blows me.
I don't think. Here's a couple of things, and Coach Doran, if anyone listened to his press conference today, the game plan was to be methodical, go slowly up at the field, eat clock. I wouldn't say conservative. I don't think that's necessarily the right word. You could maybe interpret it that way. Yep, deliberate. Look, that's a potent offense. It's probably the best offense we're going to play all year. I venture to say that. I don't know who else would rival that. Though Syracuse's offenses look pretty good through a couple of games, but it's not Tennessee's offense. Let's be real.
Not like that.
But I thought the game, that first drive was great. We converted on some third downs. I thought, we missed a play here or there. Like the one to Jolie. I thought if he just gives it, and that's the other thing. It's like too much touch, not enough touch. Like I felt like on the Jolie one on the first possession, if he throws a strike in there, just throw him the ball. Like, don't try to be finessing the ball. And I felt like that maybe that's the word I was looking for. That Grayson try to be too perfect. Like, just trust your instinct. Throw the ball. You don't have to be a gunslinger, but trust your instinct.
Well, and again, and like I thought that the reason for us going and getting all these weapons and having one of the deepest wide receiver rooms in the country was to throw to other people besides KC. And I mean, the fact that
this comment right here.
Yeah, going double tight end formation smoked us. Yeah, well, especially again, like if Javonte Vereen isn't involved, then why are we going double tight end? Like, Matt McCabe, he's been okay, but he
was weird putting him in motion on that one play.
I know.
Yeah,
and he just mixed. Like, unfortunately, he's just not been reliable so far through 2 games. And here's my other thing is that Noah Rogers got 1 freaking target. Like, what are we doing right now, y'all? Like, what are we doing? 1 target to Noah Rogers? Come on,
some head scratching.
Like, and again, Wesley Grimes 1 target, who impressed last week. Terrell Anderson was basically a ghost. He might as well have not even suited up. It was just frustrating.
I think the other thing too is you just couldn't run between the tackles. And again, give credit to Tennessee. They're a really good team. But when you got Hollywood on the edge, I thought we did our best running,
Absolutely.
And that's a relative term because we definitely struggled in that regard too. But he definitely had the most success. So it wasn't like the team didn't try to make adjustments. You could definitely see it. We struggled, and we haven't even talked about the defensive side of the ball where they spread us out. Yeah. And they just had a lot of field to work with, and we just our speed.
Yeah.
Just I mean,
and they dunked. Look. Hold on 1 second. I'll concede, but like the two little push passes they had that make a tackle. Like, we had some tackles where we didn't make tackles. I don't know the PFF missed tackle chart, like what that looked like, but it's probably ugly.
I got it. Yeah. Well, let me point out two things. First of all, Jordan Waters, y'all, had 7 rushing attempts for negative 4 yards. He literally had negative total rushing yards, y'all.
Yeah, but they had 10 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. So not all of that's on Jordan Waters.
But I think that
I
he's
agree.
doing what Grayson does. Like the Jordan I'm watching the past 2 games is not the Jordan I saw at Duke. He's being too patient. Hollywood is just attacking it. And
Shut
that's
your
why
eyes,
he
I guess, right?
Yeah. And it's like I don't understand what's going on. I think they just need to get out of their heads and just play their game. But easier said than done. But our defense looked a lot better than Western. I will say that. I mean, it's Tennessee. You have Nico. Nico's a beast. I'm sorry, but he is. But our defense looked great.
I mean, he was 16 to 23 for 211 yards.
Yeah. Go ahead, Michael.
I think the game plan in the first half was the right game plan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tennessee touched the ball before the pick six. I think they touched the ball, 4 times. Punt,
3 or 4.
Punt, touchdown, interception, field goal. Like they had, I think Nico had their touchdown was a rushing touchdown. He had the pick. 10 points. I think any State fan, if you would have said,
oh yeah,
10,
I would take it all day.
Yeah.
You had the potential to be 10,
with the chances, 10-3,
10-6 at worst.
2 minutes left, right? I think you take that all day. It's just that one mistake. It's like when you play it like that, it's almost like you got to be perfect.
It's like that one play took out the entire team. Like
it
really
just
looked like it defeated
you just
everybody.
felt it.
Yeah,
you felt it.
And it's like I've never seen that much of the sideline just basically give up at one time.
Well, and that's why too. Again, like I hate, and again, I'm not calling this guy out for sure. But then I mean, it's a quarterback-driven game, and the quarterback, I mean, especially with the experience he has, I should be able to look at him to say, all right, Grayson, you made a mistake, but I'm looking at you to bounce back. Like if we're going to bounce back, it has to start with you because you're the quarterback. At the end of the day, the ball touches you first. And he just never did. So that's my frustration is that is like if he bounced back, if he played his butt off from there on out and it just didn't click, then that's one thing. But it defeated him the rest of the game, which that's what I hated to see most of all. But
I mean,
he can bounce back this week. So
yeah, go ahead, Greg. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying no sacks. I mean, we did get some pressure on him, and I know sacks aren't the end all be all stat, but it does help paint a picture. Look, Nico didn't have to be spectacular. When you run the ball for almost 300 yards, you don't need as much from your offense. And then when you're giving them short fields, he's not going to be throwing for lots of yards. I mean,
second half they were getting the ball on our side of the field almost every time. So it's like,
And Brian said, "Is it correct? 3 of Casey's 5 touches, which he got more than 5 touches, I think. Well, no,
we had 5 receptions.
5 receptions. But 3 of them came in the first drive. Yeah, that's correct.
Yep.
I was literally sitting there in the first drive, being like, "Okay, I guess it's the KC show here against Tennessee." So yeah, now I want to give a shout out real quick to burner account saying I'm a Tennessee fan. I'll be pulling for you guys the rest of the season, beat the Clemson Taters.
Sure.
Yeah, no. There's one of those positive fans, y'all. Again, not every Tennessee fan is bad, right?
Yeah,
so.
no.
The better we are, the better their win looks. So
yeah,
true.
Yeah. Again, just not questioning, right? Because we don't want to question anything. We got that at the beginning of the year, but just trying to understand. You need, what was that 4th down play? We needed 3 yards, and we throw behind the line of scrimmage.
Get under the center. Well,
I'm not even mad about that. I'm not even mad about taking a shotgun snap if you're gonna run the ball. Yes, get under center. But if you're gonna throw the ball, get past the chains. Like don't make your receiver, especially when they have all that speed.
Yep.
Don't make them have to make 1 or 2 guys miss to get the play, especially when you're throwing behind the line. I mean, so it was like I think it was 4th and 3 if I'm not mistaken, and you throw it 2 or 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Now that makes it 4th and 6, and he's got to go make a play.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Just some of the things are just.
Yep. Jones saying Smothers looked good for 3 plays and then we never saw him again. Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here saying unfortunately, I get it with Jordan Waters for sure that he of the guys in the backfield you expect to highlight, he was the guy you expected to highlight. But honestly, y'all, I'm going to Louisiana Tech saying, you know what, Smothers, you look best so far. You got to ride the hot hand.
You got to
and let Waters get his job back. You know what I mean? Let him do what it takes to get.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's about quote unquote getting his job back. I think you have two good running backs, and let's see
different skill sets,
different opponents.
Yeah.
When you're facing a line like that, make them get lateral. Make those defensive linemen get lateral, so he can hit the corner. Smothers, that is, much quicker than Waters.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the rushing stats here, we ran for 39 yards, but 7 of those were by CJ Bailey in garbage time. So really, you only had 32 yards rushing. I mean, just the whole you had 143 yards of total offense in a game.
Which, let me know in the chat what you think. But Kenz, I'll ask you, what do you think about burning one of CJ Bailey's games?
I did not understand that.
He's not redshirting.
Oh, he's not.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
I have that, but Dave Doran actually said that in a luncheon. Some of the Savage Wolves were invited to, so it's he hasn't come out and said it in a press conference.
That makes it feel a little better because I was like, I don't get.
I don't think it matters. If he's that good,
put him in.
He's not going to be here for 5 years.
No.
Yeah.
Yep. That's true. Yep.
And at that point, if Grayson McCall really is your guy, you don't want him to get injured in trash time.
Yeah. No, I mean, it just really sucks that honestly, with 4 minutes left in the third quarter, I was already praying for the game to be over. Like, just please.
I left early.
I
never left early.
What?
Never left early.
What? And that was the thing is that so my mom and I, because my parents watched the game with us at our house, and my mom decided she was going to go to bed, and she was like, "You going to bed?" I'm like, "Nope. I've always been a person. I always stay until the very end." And to be honest, if I was there in person, there's just no way I could have stayed there the whole 60 minutes without losing my absolute mind. But I'm at least going to watch the whole game on TV though. Like, I'm watching on TV, I can suck it up, just watch the game, and I just sat there and just refreshed and just Tennessee fan, and just like, oh, this sucks. So yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, no, I just left. I didn't want to. Had a tailgate we needed to kind of tidy up, and then I had a 7-hour drive the next day, so I figured I needed to get back to the hotel and get a little bit of sleep. If you give me a reason to stay, I'll definitely stay, but given all those circumstances, I left. And you know what? People can dog me for it. I don't really care. I've told people in the past, it's your money, spend it however you want. If you want to leave early, leave early. I just couldn't do it anymore. I left at 8 with 8 minutes left in the game.
Yep. But
even Tennessee was leaving early. So.
Yeah, true. Andy saying we have other QBs that can hand the ball off. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's just but it just like Michael and them were saying, and again, the idea of redshirting is honestly just like back in my days they used to redshirt players, and now I mean, like who redshirts anymore? To be honest,
unless you're truly a guy that's going to be a 4-year guy, and there's really not a lot of those positions out there.
Exactly. So now real quick though, Greg, I do want to take a pause here real quick, is I know that. We do have a giveaway going on right now for 2 tickets to the Louisiana Tech game here this Saturday, plus a parking pass. And also, too, we had a Coney Gold even surprised us as well and was willing to give the winner of this giveaway a free bottle of their favorite barbecue sauce. So, again, if you want to go enter, make sure to go to our Twitter page, and you'll see the pinned tweet. And all you have to do to enter is just retweet, and then comment your favorite Coney Gold barbecue sauce. But there's been a lot of favorites of the Carolina Gold so far, which is their vinegar-based barbecue sauce, the Carolina Red. But, Greg, you were saying that because even a Coney Gold himself, the owner, James, actually told us that the half wingy, half white is the way to go, right? And from what you said, that was a big favorite at the Savage Wolves tailgate.
It was really good.
I'm just telling you right now, 20 pounds of chicken wings. 20 pounds of chicken wings. Gone in record time.
Let's go.
Gone in record time. I was so busy with the tailgate. I wanted to try to get some people's reactions from it. I didn't. I failed us. But believe me, they loved the chicken wings. They like I had only tried a couple of the sauces, and like you said, I took James's recommendation.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I really did 50-50. I was just kind of pouring them together and just, making it. So I don't even know. I might have been 60-40, 65, 35. I don't know, but it was good, whatever I did. So we had a bunch of the recruits commits for next year.
Yeah, Gus came.
Yeah, we had a bunch of commits. We had I think it was about 16, 17, 18, somewhere around that number commits. Gus Ritchie, Cam Strong, Gibbs, offensive lineman Gibbs, Spike, Soul, I think that's how you say his last name. If I'm I think offensive lineman. There was a couple others that I'm just trying to remember names, but it was an awesome time at the tailgate. It's still undefeated out there.
Yeah, absolutely, y'all. So again, I mean, if you want to go get your barbecue sauce, so whether it's the Carolina Red, which is vinegar based, there's also a mustard based barbecue sauce, brown sugar based. There's a jalapeno or spicy if you like a little bit more kick. Which I'm, actually, believe it or not, for one of our commercials, actually tried the spicy and jalapeno. I'm not a spicy guy, but there's definitely a little bit of kick to it, but it's not overbearing. So it's it just for people that like a little bit of kick to it. Spicy and jalapeno is the way to go. What were you going to say, Greg?
I will say this. We had some of the barbecue was catered, and I don't name the company, but it was a local establishment there in Charlotte. They actually have a location in Raleigh, so people may be able to put it together.
Okay.
They had their own sauce. People were going over to the Oconee Gold stuff and grabbing that stuff, and I had the bottles just for display because we had our advertisement up there. I turned around, and the next thing I know, people opened it and used it, and I'm like, well, I was going to use it for another tailgate, but they started using it, and they were digging it.
Let's go. Yeah.
Get in there and get that sauce.
So go get that sauce.
They got rubs, too.
Tell people when they could and couldn't eat, Greg. It's not their fault.
So good, y'all.
I got yelled at.
Get that Coney Gold Dust. Get that amazing paprika flavor, brown sugar rub. It is absolutely delicious, y'all. So, but again, so
Tuffy Talk 15.
Tuffy Talk 15, y'all get 15% off your order. Go click that link in the description below. And again, use that coupon code Tuffy Talk to get 15% off your entire order, y'all. And if it's over $99, you can also get free shipping as well.
I'm probably going to order $100 worth of that stuff because I think it went so well. And the guys at Savage loved it. So, yeah.
Let's go. Cool deal. So, let's jump back into it. Charles is saying, hey, so quick question. Has the thought ever been to have a cookout for the team? A cookout from Savage Wolves or a cookout from like the football program? I'm confused what he means by that, but I mean, like maybe by us, is that what you're asking, Charles? And maybe a little clarification on that might be great. No, Charles, if you wouldn't mind clarifying that question real quick. Here we'll jump into MS saying Dave does not have the defense to play ball control this year. We need to focus on scoring as much as possible. Will Dave adjust?
Well, you could do that. I mean, ball control, assuming you score every possession, ball control is good because then that runs time off the clock and less exposure for your defense. So I kind of disagree with that statement.
Right.
Well, but again, I mean, Michael, but this year though, I mean, with as many weapons as we had, I mean, it was a pretty understanding expectation that, okay, we're probably not going to win a game this year 10-7, just won't have necessarily the defensive firepower we did last year without, loss of Peyton Wilson and some other guys as well. So, but honestly, and I'll kind of ask you this, but honestly, I'm saying that right now, the spread for Louisiana Tech game is 21.5 for Louisiana Tech.
Have they seen our offense?
Well, but that's what I'm saying is like honestly, for the sake of getting some swagger and some confidence back for Clemson, you got to cover that spread. Like I think we got to go dominate Louisiana Tech. We got to.
Yeah. So a thing with this is more of a general statement about how we decided to play Tennessee. From the moment the first depth chart came out and Matt McCabe was listed at tight end, I mean, my immediate thought was,
wait, what?
Oh, we're doing that.
Matt McCabe. Sorry.
McCabe.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I heard Matt McCabe. And I was like,
no,
what?
McCabe. My immediate thought was, oh, they're doing that because of Tennessee, because of their defensive line. They're going to have him at Tennessee, have him there for the Tennessee game, and then I would be surprised to see him there the rest of the season. So I don't know. I just feel like the team we've seen and the strategy we've seen offensively the first 2 games against Western Carolina was to try and play that way against Tennessee. And I always anticipated it changing after the Tennessee game. I don't know. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but I guess we'll find out. But like that, this was before I even saw us take a snap. This was when I saw the depth chart come out and say, oh, they're going to go big because we know Tennessee is a great defensive line. They're going to try and bring him in for an extra blocker. Obviously, it didn't work out, but I don't know. I just feel like there's definitely going to be some changes, and that were already kind of in the plan for the season. I don't know.
Yeah.
My thinking.
If you think about it, the Morsell game last year, we put up a lot, and we kind of got right offensively. La Tech feels kind of the same way, that you could kind of do the same types of things and potentially get right, work out some of these things. But this is the week to figure it out, because guess what? Right after that, you got Clemson. And oh, by the way, that's not overlook NIU, who just beat Notre Dame the following week. So that's not going to be a gimme game.
No.
So if you're going to figure things out, this is probably the great week to kind of do that.
In fact, now all of a sudden, I'm putting that game, like, you know, I've always been kind of a stickler in terms of the definition of a trap game. And NIU is, whether we win or lose Clemson, that's a trap game now. That's a trap game.
Well, again, you don't want to lose Clemson twice.
Well, exactly.
You
don't want to
lose.
But then if you beat them, you'd also don't want to go to high-headed and potentially blow that game too. So yeah, no, that's officially a trap game.
I don't know. That's gonna be a nice top 25 game at home that we get.
They're 24 right now, right?
24,
didn't they get ranked 24?
Yeah.
Yes, behind Notre Dame. Behind Notre Dame still. Who's at 18? Like, if you're gonna rank them, you have to put them ahead of Notre Dame. But whatever.
Yeah.
It's
again, why is
2-0? It's 2-0.
Notre Dame even ranked?
Right.
Because they're Notre Dame. You just answered your own question.
Yeah.
God. But again,
so, are we feeling this?
8-4.
No.
Here, let me say one more thing about Notre Dame. Let me say one more thing about Notre Dame. They shouldn't be ranked. Why? Because their college ball playoff chances are absolutely over. There's no chance. If they get in, then college ball playoff committee is absolute crazy. There's no reason.
I disagree. I disagree, because if NIU then becomes your group of 5 representative, okay, not saying that it's going to happen, but guess what? Now they're ranked. That's the first part. You got to get ranked. I'm not saying NIU is going to do. I know absolutely nothing about NIU. Okay, I'm just let's just talk about it for 38 seconds.
Okay. All right.
If NIU, that's their signature win, if they somehow keep it moving.
But they would have to beat us too. NIU would have to beat us too.
Okay. Well, not inconceivable.
Yeah.
Not inconceivable.
So we'll see.
Notre Dame just paid them $1.5 million to go to South Bend and lose.
Yeah. No, I agree.
We may end up paying them $875,000 to lose. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Not saying it's going to happen, but if you don't show up, anything's possible.
Yeah. All right. So now we'll jump in. John A. So 8-4 again.
I don't think so.
I don't think there's. I know we didn't look as competitive as we thought, but you're sitting at 1-1, which is probably where about 90% of state fans expected us to be after 2 games.
But this is the state fan mentality, 8-4. That's what we're saying, 8-4 now. And I just don't think we're there yet. I look, we lost to a game that we probably most people had as a loss. I did not. I'll be, full disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we would be competitive of neutral field. The weapons are there. It just didn't happen. And you look at teams like Oregon, they've struggled 2 weeks in a row. Again, not saying we're Oregon, just throwing it out there. Teams, sometimes it takes a few games for teams to find out and click.
Yep.
I like to take the wait and see approach. I don't like to jump off the ledge.
Sure.
Again, you see my title, currently depressed, but I still think there's plenty in the tank for this team to go out and do something.
Well, and I think honestly too, it's really 2 things. It's not only because again, if we lost, okay, that's one thing, but it's how we lost, but it's also to the Western Carolina game too. It's like, all right, like it's looking not really like it's the saying, "Fool me once, shame on you; fool me twice, shame on me." And so I'm sitting here saying like, okay, hopefully this isn't 1 + 1 = 2. Hopefully it's 1 + 1 = 0. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hopefully it's not what it's looking like, which is that we are in trouble. So again, that's what I'm saying. Louisiana Tech, huge game. Clemson game, a astronomical game, especially now of it being at noon. That's the other thing too, is I'm sitting here saying, listen, if you can stay healthy,
best
Louisiana
case
Tech,
scenario,
you don't have to face Death Valley at night. You know, like it's setting up as the perfect scenario for Dave Doran to finally get it done, as long as he can stay healthy.
Our best chance last time was a noon game,
right? Yeah, and we won't talk about that. So,
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
I think the last time that Clemson lost at night at home was James Winston in 2013.
Yeah,
when they won the national championship.
I mean, they lost.
All their other losses have been daytime games.
Yeah, they lost to South Carolina. They've lost to.
You mean
Pitt, Syracuse
night game? Well, okay, hold on. We got the brakes kicked off us by Trevor Lawrence in a night game back in 2019 when we got like we were down like 42-0 at halftime. But but so 2013, you mean 2014, Jameis, the Jacoby game, the home game?
No, he's talking about Clemson losing at home.
Oh, okay,
Clemson losing at home.
Yeah, they got destroyed 2013. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, so that's why I'm sitting here once again. Is just like, okay, like the plans are just setting up perfectly. Have been setting up perfectly for Doran to go get his AC championship and right off to starting his tackle and bait shop. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it's right there, Doran. Go grab it. You know, you've always had issues of scheduling or injuries or whatever it may be. As long as you can stay healthy and going through Louisiana Tech, not even talking about the game alone, no matter what, Clemson is setting up perfectly for you. They are suspect, even though they just absolutely walloped App State, which even I didn't see coming for sure. I did not see them absolutely walloping App State.
Now Clemson fans are saying they're back. I mean,
they're saying they're back.
You beat a group of 5 team.
Right. Now, what I expected to be a good group of 5, a really good group of 5 team, which I guess that is to be determined. But yeah, I mean,
you should beat that team handily.
Correct. Yeah. Well, and they were 21-point favorites. So yeah, I mean, like, you know, they're pretty heavily favored in that game. Yeah. So yeah. So, but also too, I mean, John A brings up a great point. Again, we're talking a lot about the Clemson game, rightfully so, but we still got to face Syracuse, Boston College, and NIU, which all 3 of those games right now are, man.
Look, that's so far down the line. Let's move on to the next sport. Like,
but again, we're talking about the 8-4 record.
Yeah, I know, but again, let's just go win the week.
Agreed. Oh yeah, no, and we need to go win big. Look,
if you win this week, that's 1 less loss to 4 losses. Okay.
Right.
So
you haven't left the game that you were expected to win. The loss didn't look good, but you know, at the end of the day, it's still 1 loss.
Like, honestly, here's where I am a little bit is, listen, go get other guys involved. Get the Wesley Grimes 3 targets. Get Noah Rogers 6 targets. Go get other guys involved. Casey, I don't want him at punt return because I don't want no crazy.
Well, you didn't see that this past weekend.
Well, yeah, and I want that heading into Clemson because God forbid I don't want no KC injury against Louisiana Tech the week before Clemson. Right. But again, just go get Jordan Waters, you know, going. Okay, like Greg, like Greg and Kenzie, y'all are saying like, you know, we need to get Jordan Waters going. Okay, let's go get him going then, man.
Go get some guys some confidence. Go get Grayson McCall confidence. Go
kick some teeth in, man.
Get some blocks, please.
Yeah, get some blocks, and because that's another thing too is frustrating is they literally showed the graphic.
All graduates.
Exactly. 4 of the 5 of them are graduates. Like they're all super experienced.
Lining up in the backfield 3 times is not the AB. I know it's not.
Yeah, that's just lack of detail. That's lack of attention to detail. Just look, like it's just like the wide receivers do. They look at the referee going, "Hey, good." Like, check yourself before you get into your stance.
Yep. MS saying y'all pretty optimistic. We need to see huge changes against Louisiana Tech to have any chance against Clemson. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. I mean,
you have to be optimistic. I mean, why would you be negative?
We better be optimistic.
What's the point of being negative?
Well, but also too, because again,
this would be the suckiest show. Guess what? We lost to Tennessee. We're going to lose to Louisiana Tech. Then we're going to lose to Clemson. And then you know what? NIU just beat Notre Dame, so we're going to lose to them too. Like, what the hell is the point of this?
And again, I mean, and again, it could be honestly that Tennessee is one of the top 4 teams in the country, and I'm not making excuses, but I mean mean, dude. I mean, their team is legit. You know, so
a lot of teams beat. Look, and here's the other thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to probably get flame sprayed for this, and that's okay. I think they're spending like $8-9 million on NIL for football. Like,
yeah, easily. If not in the tens of millions.
I'm not saying money makes you better. Not saying that. You still got to go spend wisely.
Gets you better players.
It does get you better players, right? And that's half the battle. Someone earlier asked how much are we spending on NIL for football? I believe it's around $1.52 million, somewhere in that neighborhood. It might be a tick over 2, but
it's a tick over 2. It's at least 2.
I don't think it's much more than 2.5.
No. Yeah, I think it's between 2.5.
Yeah. So again, put it in perspective. Not saying, you know, and you just have to go choose wisely with your money and the guys that are out there and people that fit your program and fit, you know, whether that's athletically, if that's attitude, whatever your standards are for going to recruit guys, system based, whatever, you got to work within the confines of what you have. And Brian's right. Money doesn't guarantee you talent, but it does provide the opportunity to get it. Again, you look at these programs, we'll use Clemson and South Carolina and some of these schools, Florida, Louisiana. No, Florida's probably not a great one, but LSU, they put all their money, and it's not NIL money, but they put it into their facilities. So you have a recruit come in and see a freaking putt-putt course and a batting cage and a barber shop and a recording studio. Some of the things that I see on these YouTube videos, it's all money. It's all money.
Well, and the other thing which I want to say too, you know, with MS saying not trying to be negative, just realistic. I mean, the real situation that we're in is everything we said before the season is still 100% true. Where the fact that we have all the talent we need, we have everything we need,
and all the goals that we had at the beginning of the season are still there. Like people are thinking that after that Tennessee loss, our season's over. No, we can still very much win the ACC. Like I don't get it.
The goal is to get the goal is to get to the ACC championship game and then go win it. Once you get to the ACC championship game, that's obviously step 1. But that's 50% right there. You have a 1 in 2 chance of winning the championship at that point. It doesn't matter. Like I know Miami has spent a lot of money in NIL. There's teams, but we arguably have the easiest schedule we've ever had in the ACC.
Yep. And again, Mario Cristobal is still Mario Cristobal. So, I mean, as good as Cam Ward is, listen, they can fall flat on their face too, just like Notre Dame did this past weekend.
Anything's possible. You have injuries, you have weird bounces, you have weather. Anything can happen. Just put yourself in the conversation to be there at the end.
Amen. And I honestly, I'm looking at this as like we need after Duke bye week.
Yeah.
Like conversation during this week.
It's got to see
right now
the way we're going.
I would love to have a players only meeting where someone like Davin Van goes, all right, boys, look here. This is my last ride.
Honestly,
Scott McCall, this is my last ride.
Somebody FaceTime Peyton, have him talk some sense.
Or Aiden White. Go.
I'm sure he'll come down and talk.
I mean, you got captains. Use your captains.
That's
this is where captains need to be captains. They need to be leaders.
Amen. Z Corral.
Get out of their heads. That's all you got to do. Play your game.
Yep.
Just come together as a unit. You know, it's you against the world. It's you against those naysayers, those fans that only want to ride with you when you're winning.
Yep.
I'm riding all the way.
Yep. Absolutely. And again, I think honestly too, because here's the other thing is that, I mean, no doubt that a lot of these conversations need to be around coaching for sure. Again, I don't really understand, and like we're all in agreement that we don't understand why KC's been so involved when he doesn't have to be so involved. But here's my other thing too, and this is also kind of what I'm saying with but again, like, could it be because maybe we went to KC so much because Anai is trying to make it easier for Grayson because he knows
KC can create.
He knows KC is okay. We'll use this Louisiana Tech game to go get him comfortable with Noah, to go get him comfortable with Wesley Grimes, to go get him comfortable with Dakari Collins. You know what I mean? Like
Dakari played a good first half. Like
he's been playing well. He's been playing well in these 2 games. So that's why I'm saying is it's like, listen, if we're gonna go win a championship, we got to get other guys involved. As good as KC is, we can't just win a championship with him.
Like,
now, again, at the end of the day, if there's situations where, just like in the Western Carolina game, where it's like, all right, screw it. At this point, we need to go to
all
KC
bets
because
are
we need
off.
to go win this game. All bets are off. Okay, that's one thing. But
you have to try.
that is
yourself in
need to
that
be our game plan.
position. Go be balanced. I know
Exactly.
balance.
Yeah,
Go
but
run the ball.
Balance is one of those weird words. You don't need to be 50-50 run and pass. Like I get that, but whatever the situation, whatever the defense is giving you, go be that. Like go be balanced off of the defense that you're facing.
I just think one target to Noah Rogers is unacceptable.
Agreed.
I don't.
I mean, you're paying him a lot of money,
I
paying a
don't
lot of
see
money.
why.
and a lot is relative, but it's a lot for NC State money.
Yeah,
Let's
I
put it
don't
that
get
way.
that.
Go ahead, Michael.
Wesley
What were your
Grimes.
thoughts?
with KZ, I mean, he's a top 2 receiver in the ACC, and he might not be 2. Like, I
But here's
think
my
you give
thing.
him
It's like,
his ball as much as you can.
But do you even know yet what you have in Noah? But do you even know yet what you have in Noah truly? That's the thing.
No,
have you really got him
but
involved
it's
enough that
been
you really know.
No, but it's been 2 games. You have a whole season's worth of KC last year.
Sure, but I mean,
I just think if you don't do that and you don't give KC touches,
then you're going to be questioning that, right?
I think the opposite is worse. We have one of the best receivers in the ACC, if not the country. Why are we not giving him the ball more? I'd rather give it to him too much than not enough.
I just don't want him getting hurt. I don't want him getting hurt.
Yeah, but
I'm in complete agreement that if it's 3rd and 8 or if it's 4th and 2, if you're at the goal line, if you're in a key situation, you need a play. Okay, go to KC. I get that. I'm more saying in this game specifically against Louisiana Tech, where we need to control things, but also too, we need to try and prepare ourselves and get confidence for the rest of the season. This is a game where, again, you go and start to try and work on figuring out what do we truly have in Noah Rogers? What do we truly have in Wesley Grimes? What do we like? Is Terrell Anderson a guy that we need to get more involved? He looked really good against Western Carolina, so, and just see what you have.
I
get it.
Go ahead, Michael.
I get it. I think it's on them to make those plays, to get open, to get the separation that Casey already does.
Mm-hmm.
True. No, I agree. Yep.
I mean, Casey is a different breed.
And that was exactly what I was going to say. Whoever's open, throw them the damn ball. I don't care who it is. Just whoever gives you the best, whoever puts you in the best position to make a play, whether that's Noah Rogers, whether that's Jordan Waters, whether it's Wesley Grimes, Terrell Anderson, Jonathan Paylor. I don't care. Just throw it to the guy that's open.
I just feel like we're seeing an Emeka and Devin Leary connection between Grayson and Casey. And I want him to be able to have that connection with other wide receivers as well.
Yeah.
I just don't like seeing
I still think Wesley is his dude.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doc saying the situation with Grayson is hard. He has to stay healthy, but if his whole mindset is played not to get hurt, that's problematic.
If that is what it is,
not to get
I don't think
hurt.
it is.
I think it's just
it's I think it's some of it's confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he's responsible for 4 turnovers in 2 games. That's,
and two big turnovers. 2 games.
Yeah.
So
you got to protect the ball first and foremost. And if the coaching staff doesn't feel that he's the guy, then it's next man up. But I don't think that they're there yet. I mean, these are fixable things. Like that's the other thing. A lot of these things that we're seeing are fixable things. You just have to go out in there and fix it, though. That's the other part of it. And again, like I said, La Tech is your game to get it right, because the next 3 or 4 are just as important. Like this game is important. This game is important. Don't get me wrong, but
but the scheduling helped us out really well. Like if we would have went straight from Tennessee to Clemson, they would just be in their heads just like they were. Like having Louisiana Tech to be able to like go back home, have that home environment, be able to just chill out. I feel like that's going to help them a lot.
Yeah. And you also mentioned too earlier, Greg, about the defense with the missed tackles. So Sean Brown, PFF, had Sean Brown missing 3 tackles, DK Kaufman missing 3, Isaiah Shirley missing 2, Corey Coley and Noah Potter each missing 1. So we had 10 missed tackles this game.
That was more than that. And again, different skill sets, so it's not apples to apples comparison. But conversely, we only had 6 against Western.
Yeah.
So it's not like you got better in that department. And I think too, some of those were like timely missed tackles, like on 3rd downs, on those push passes. Nico running for a 31-yard touchdown. I think there was a missed tackle on that one. just the opportunity of missed tackles, and when you're already playing behind, and I think you said it earlier, Michael, you have to play a dang near flawless game. You can't be having 10 missed tackles. You can't be lining up incorrectly. You can't have pick sixes, though we did get one on the return, but or excuse me, on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Late one. Trash time.
No. I mean, let's be real. Trash time was 10 minutes in the third quarter at that point.
Right.
But
yeah.
But the point is, Nico had 2 interceptions. Like he didn't have to be perfect. He had a supporting cast that took care of it. And when we couldn't move the ball, because again, we had 143 yards total offense, he didn't have to be great. Like, it just.
It was just mental errors a lot, like that ball dropping at the 3-yard line, and no one just they just looked at each other. Like, pick it up, run. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, that was
mental errors.
9 times out of 10, that's a touchback, and it literally lands at like the 1.5 yard line, and it back spun instead of forward spinning.
Exactly.
You're setting your team up for disaster to begin with, and
honestly,
I don't think you're going 97 yards on that offense or that defense. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, because here's my other thing too, and this is kind of again a coaching thing or a huge mental error, which is that honestly with how the rules are in today's day and age, there's no reason to let a ball roll into an end zone. Just catch it and fair catch it. You know what I mean? Like why take that risk of exactly that? So but again, learning moment hopefully.
Yep.
Just catch it every single time. So, but again, I just have a really hard time, talking too much again about defense, because just like we said, we only gave up 13. The defense only gave up 13 points in the first half. So and
our
they were on the field a lot
the entire second half. So
exactly, yeah, they were on the.
Obviously, they're going to get tired against that type of offense.
Yeah, but the problem was 50%. They were 50% on third down. We were 3 for 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
0 for 2 on fourth down.
And I think probably 2 of those 3 came on the first drive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did convert 2 third downs on that first drive. So you're right. Good point. We literally converted 1 of 14 third and fourth down conversions after the first drive.
We looked
just not going to win the game.
You just got to get points off a drive like that. I mean, it was like that was almost the perfect start. Like lengthwise, that was exactly what we wanted. It took 7 minutes, 6 minutes, but you got 0 points out of it. So
you know what? I will say, can I get a grind my gears real quick?
You got it.
You know what really grinds my gears?
How do the referees? I know we made a change, but when that one guy basically just walked in as a substitute for Tennessee, and they allowed it, and we had to call a timeout, and that kind of threw the momentum of that drive off too on that first drive. I believe that was the first drive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think
Yes. Yeah.
First or second.
Yeah, first or second. It might have been the second. But, bro, pace of play, like something like how do you? I know we're not.
Yeah, I don't know
on this podcast.
Well, I mean, if the offense subs, the defense has they have to give it a chance, right? Yeah. But I don't know.
I mean, there's going to be some time. He literally came from the end zone.
Yeah.
And just went slowly diagonal across.
I don't know. There's got to be some type of time limit, but I don't know. Maybe that's just the rules. If you sub, you have to give the chance for the defense.
Well, that just, as an offense, you have to sub earlier. You can't wait to 15 seconds to make your substitution or whatever it is. I mean, you're, at that point, it's smart play on the defense. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, that was, if they're not going to call you for anything unsportsmanlike or any of that, let it roll.
Yeah. Amen. So, again, that's one of those things where, like, if we had lost by 2 points or 3 points in that game, okay, we'd be talking about that a lot more. But
but it's just one of those things. It's
I agree. I agree.
Just from a football standpoint, it's like, what?
Yeah.
And it does throw.
Definitely, that was definitely not the reason we lost that game.
No.
What was the reason we lost?
I think we just spent the last hour, 8 minutes discussing it.
Yeah, right. And Brandon coming in here saying they were getting killed up front off the rip. The scripted first drive did well, but even then you could see the obvious difference in talent, in the line talent. Yeah, they were killing us on both sides of the ball.
Speed. The speed and athleticism was vastly different.
Well, and the depth.
The size.
The depth.
Literally, they're huge.
Everything.
We just said everything. Speed, size, depth. They're spending a lot of money. It's the SEC. They have to be all that, though. That's the thing, right? SEC football and ACC football, That was a great contrast. You know, you take the Georgia game versus Clemson, and you take our game versus Tennessee. Arguably, two of the top 4 teams in the SEC, or 2 of the top 4 or 5 teams in the ACC. So you know that Georgia is obviously probably number 1, maybe number 2, but to me they're number 1. Yeah. Tennessee's probably 2, 3.
Yeah, easily top 5, top 4 easily. So yeah. And again, to be determined, we're only 2 games in. So
yeah. But vastly different.
Well, and again, and honestly, like I'm sitting here saying, because I think it was James Henderson from IPS saying it was a bad look for the ACC. I'm sitting here like, listen, there's nobody saying that ACC and SEC are close, or like no, SEC is in a ward of its own in college football. It's the other conferences that are trying to have a conversation right now about who's the best. But yeah, no, listen, like there is no dominant team in the ACC this year. There is none. There's not a dominant team right now.
To me, I think Miami. I think Miami's going to be pretty dominant. Again, I know you keep saying Mario Cristobal, but but they have so much talent, much talent.
But again, they never had an issue with talent though. They've always had talent. They had King. They had King. They had an Alabama. They had a stacked offensive line last year. So
they also took CJ Clark from us.
Yeah,
he hasn't really done much.
Well, no, but again, and hey, listen, it's same thing with Miami, just like Notre Dame, just like any Florida State, just like anybody else. That the moment that they get a whiff of, oh man, they're really really good, they're going to get all the smoke, and it is what it is. It's just the world of media that we live in. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, Children saying go Cal ACC. Shout out to Cal though for the win over Auburn.
Win.
I mean, Auburn's ACC so win. That's our best. That's our best ACC win.
Yep. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, and Brandon saying it's been a horrible season for the ACC. The champs getting again, and that's it. I mean, there's not going to be a no at-large, qualification from a ACC more likely. Probably not. I mean,
depends.
I mean, again, unless, I mean, I guess more than likely there's.
I don't know. It's just hard to say right now.
It is. It
is very hard to say, but here's the other thing though too. There's been a question of, from other media members, which is within NC State, the question of, do we need to move away from graduate transfer quarterbacks?
Yes.
How about Kenton Gibbs's tweet?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, yes. He definitely tweeted that out today.
Yeah, he did.
It feels like they don't work as much as they do work. I know you got a few examples of where they have worked. Obviously, Cam Ward has been pretty successful the first 2 games, though it is a small sample size. But there's plenty of instances where it hasn't worked.
Yep.
The issue is, it's win now.
Right.
Yeah, you can start. We could have started MJ Morris last year. We could have not got anybody. I don't think we would have gone 9-3.
Yeah.
Same thing with this year. We could have started CJ Bailey. Mm-hmm. I don't think this year turns out as well as it does with Grayson the rest of the way. So yes, you obviously want to develop your own guy, have him in there, have him as a starter for 3 or 4 years, but you're going to take that. You're going to take some lumps. That's sacrificing a year of developing a quarterback. And I don't know. People want to win now.
Well, and honestly, that's why I honestly do believe that high school recruiting, I've made jokes on here, about like UNC about how they brag about having a top 25, top 20, high school recruiting class, where it's like, it's just not, high school recruiting is not what it was. But I am going to sit here and say that I think it's vital now that you need to, like, if you get somebody high school for quarterback, it needs to hit. I honestly think you need a guy that can develop, you can develop.
But here's the thing: if they're not playing instantly, they're gone within a year or 2 before they may even start in your program. Kind of like look at what Noah Rogers with Ohio State. He didn't see the field last year. He's like, I'm out. Quarterbacks are the same way. It's even worse for quarterbacks because there's only one quarterback that can play at a time, whereas wide receivers, other positions, you have multiple of them.
But typically, though, so I mean, no, Rodgers is obviously a different story because of the fact that. But
agreed. But my point is if you let a guy develop for your program for a year or 2, and he's not quote unquote guaranteed, and the NIL money's not there for him, he's more likely to bolt. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Just like Michael said earlier, and we talked about it about the, why would you redshirt a quarterback at this point? There's no guarantee he's going to be there next year, whether he plays. McCord last year played at Ohio State, basically was the start of the whole season. Deuces, I'm out. Like, you just don't know.
Well, because they pushed him out. It's not because he decided to go. It's because they pushed him out.
Yeah, but it wasn't like they quote unquote pushed him out. They didn't give him the guarantees that he wanted.
But again, I think they knew that if we're going to be Michigan, we need somebody better at the quarterback position. Period. But
we'll see if they beat Michigan this year. They
probably
will.
They better.
They probably will.
They better. If they don't, Ryan Day is gone.
But you get what I'm saying. There's no guarantee that you go pay this guy, because you're going to probably have to pay him NIL money, because he's still a quarterback. He's got. I don't care if he's the first string quarterback or the second string quarterback. He's going to get NIL money. He is.
But because here's my other thing too, is that, and another reason why is because a lot of things that we're talking about right now with Grayson is confidence, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that he has not. Again, up until a week ago, he hasn't had opportunities to throw to any of his weapons. In game time, and so first start he's having to throw to these guys in game time. And we saw in that game some of the learning curve that came with that, because he was throwing most of his inaccurate passes behind. So if you bring in a guy like if you get a guy like with Tennessee with Nico, where you say, well, he's unproven, he's young, well, but he's also had a year in practice to throw to a lot of these guys, so he's been able to learn and develop and go ahead and get to know some of these guys and be like, hey, yo, I'm next up, man. We're ready to go.
Again, you potentially had that with MJ Morris, but he bolted.
Well, but we also knew, again, I'm saying too that, but also too, obviously talent wise, but also too drama behind the scenes. We decided it was not enough too. I truly do feel that, we could have decided to invest resources to keep him around, but we decided not to, because from what we saw on the field combined with what was going on behind the scenes, we decided it wasn't worth it and decided to move on.
And he took him. Go ahead, Michael. I've been talking.
It's I just think, again, I think people say that, but it's especially with Doran, who's year 12. That's what you hear. He's got to win something. He's got to win something big. And I don't think people say that now, because it's also been 2 games. Grayson could turn out to be really good for us this year.
Absolutely.
But
I keep saying that. I'm going to be optimistic.
People saying about a linebacker. Well, we didn't go and get anybody out of the portal with the linebacker. It's like, okay, well, that's what you're wanting to do that with QB, like the most important position on the field.
Let me ask you a question, Greg. So, would you say that the Brandon Armstrong we saw in those last 3 games was because he had some time to get, acclimated, to get used to the guys, get used to the offense a little bit?
He definitely didn't get worse, but let me back up real quick. We had the strategy where we gave a quarterback a year to learn the system, MJ Morris, right? We made a change at quarterback last year because Brendan Armstrong was the graduate we brought in. Wasn't happening. Put MJ Morris in. Safe to say, mixed results.
Yep.
Then pulled himself out. So State set themselves up for this plan, right? This high school plan that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. So again, back to my original point, you can do it both ways. What's that?
No, I'm just agreeing with you. Yeah.
Right. So you can do it that way. There's no guarantee that it's going to work, because again, you don't know how the player's going to feel, whether he's in his feelings and things aren't working the way they want him to work. He's getting bad advice. He's not playing well on the field, whatever that case may be. But bottom line, you just got to hit on these dudes. And if you're not hitting, if you're hitting, this conversation, it's moot. We're not having it. We've had some bad luck. We've had transfers. And again, in the 2 transfers that, Coach Norton talked about today, Brissett and Finley, guys that were able to have multiple years in the system. Yep. So he kind of, made Kenton's point for him. If we hit on these dudes, we're not having the conversation.
Agreed.
I do like the theory of developing guys, getting them in the system, learning, getting them bigger. I do like that. We tried it. It just didn't work. Maybe that's the approach long term, And this could just be a one-off because we just had this thing happen to us with the MJ Morris thing last year.
And Michael, I want to ask you a question. And before I do, I want to bring in a couple of comments saying, Brian saying, agree with Kenton, outliers exist, but those aren't the averages when it comes to transfers. Andy saying, well, the 2 transfer quarterbacks we got were both coming off bad years, regardless of the reason.
Mm-hmm. Or at least, saying, I mean, not bad seasons, but just there were question marks, right? Like,
right. Can he transfer to the Power 5 level with Grayson McCall? Yeah,
right.
Agreed. Andy Alcorn saying, but Manning is still Texas. Well, again, he's getting paid. He's getting paid a lot, but he's also getting paid a lot of money
But here's the thing, with Manning sitting for a couple of years, his window to be really good is really small now. To get, I mean, he'll probably, because of the Manning name, I know things are a little different for him. Again, he's a one-off.
Yeah, that's
but he the last year he was able to redshirt, so he has this year counts regardless if he plays or not. He's got 3 years at that point to figure it out.
And I mean, so basically the question, I guess, to you, Michael, is ideally, here's the ideal situation for NC State, but for any college football program, but for us, because I want us to do this, not every other program. I want every other program to suck it, do the wrong things, exactly. But ideally, like, for example, right now for next season, I want us to go into next season, ideally, with CJ Bailey being the starting quarterback, to the point where
he'll be given every opportunity to get it.
Every opportunity. And honestly, like I'm going to go into offseason thinking that unless absolutely proven otherwise. And if we go into that season not feeling very confident that he can get the job done, then, okay, that's where you start to look at a quarterback as well. Because here's the other thing, and here's the other issue, is that unfortunately with our budget, we just can't afford to bring in to higher caliber
$775,000.
Right. We can't afford that. We can't spend over half of our budget on a starting quarterback and a backup quarterback. So that's kind of where we are. So basically, ideally,
join NIL.
You go, yes. You go into every season, every single high school recruiting class, looking for who is going to be your next starting quarterback at some point during his tenure. But then if it doesn't work out, such as with this year with MJ Morris, it just didn't work out. And obviously we don't have any intentions of starting a true freshman quarterback in CJ Bailey. We don't have a choice. We got to go get a Grayson McCall. We have to. So I think, is that the mindset that you think NC State should have? Period. Michael, go ahead first, and Greg, I'll let you answer. Go ahead.
Right. I think, like I said, going back to last year, MJ showed flashes, but coaches decided ultimately they needed to go out and get another quarterback, and I think they were right with the way we saw MJ play. I know he won the games he played in, but it was really not because of him. Yeah. But I think we'll see that kind of analysis again this offseason. If they feel like CJ's ready to go, I think they will try and roll with him. But if they don't feel like it, I think you got to go get somebody else.
Yeah. Greg, go ahead.
Yeah. Look, you're always going to look to improve your squad at whatever position that is. And if you're not sold on a guy, because guess what? Unless CJ Bailey plays significantly this year at some point for whatever reason, there's going to be a lot of questions coming in. Like, yes, he's a second-year guy, but he's never started a game before. And so do you bring in a quote-unquote veteran guy that, because you'll have Lex Thomas in the system. You'll have Ethan Rhodes, I believe, will still – I can't remember.
Probably,
I think you have Ethan Rhodes still. Yep. And then you have Will Wilson, assuming that he shows up on campus. None of your quarterbacks will have quote-unquote started a game in the ACC or any game.
That goes to my next question, and Greg, I'll let you ask because I know you'll probably definitely want to ask this. But I mean, writing on the wall, do you say it's almost a certainty that we're going to bring in some kind of quarterback, not necessarily a guy that's a stud, but somebody that can compete against CJ Bailey for the starting job next year?
Depends. It just depends on what you think Will Wilson's going to be able to bring you year one.
Exactly. But that's my thing is like even if you're like, oh, CJ Bailey, like he's got it, he's ready to go. With Lex Thomas or Will Wilson as your backup, are you?
At that point, I think you have to make sure that it's the right fit, that it's a guy that knows that what he's coming in for, that he's going to be a backup. You're going to have to find a guy that you can pay, because I'm sure guys, I don't think you're going to get a guy that's going to be a grad transfer, because they're going to want to play their last year. So if it's going to be something like that, it might be a guy with 2 years. And then you say, all right, first year you're sitting, maybe we give you a shot in year 2. I'm just not sure you can easily get a guy that's in his last year to say, yeah, I'm okay just coming along for the ride. I mean, I know we got that in the transfer Chambers 2 years ago. I can't remember his first name, so I apologize.
Jack Chambers.
Thank you. So that was the case, and he ended up playing significantly because of that weird season that it was.
Yeah.
But it would have to be an instance like that where you're okay with a guy just saying, hey, just come on, we'll get, we'll get you on scholarship, we'll get you NIL money that'll pay for your schooling, however that works out, because that was a weird deal that they did for him.
Well, because here's my other thing too, is
I thought he was a walk on it, if I'm not mistaken.
He was, yeah.
And Brandon Peach saying, I mean, you'll have to bring a competitive QB in every year, regardless, especially with the fact that your bench could walk anytime they choose. Well, but here's my thing: is like,
hell, your starter could walk at any time.
Well, here's my thing: like, if you believe CJ Bailey can be an elite quarterback for you at some point during his time at NC State, do you honestly accept? All right, going into next year, he'll be decent. He won't be amazing, but he'll be decent next year. Do you accept that, knowing that, hey, maybe if I can get him a decent year out of him, get 12 games, starting, that the next year, now he's going to be elite, instead of going with, again, another guy that's a grad transfer, and then you play him, and then it's like you're just kicking the because it kind of look as you're kicking the rock down the road, when it's like, listen, give CJ Bailey some time and see if he can develop.
You gotta be willing to accept some first year starter mistakes, and
but just like with Nico, I mean, again, he threw two interceptions yesterday.
Yeah, I'm gonna use this analogy, and it may not be the best analogy, but I think it works. It's almost like you're a small market like baseball team, right? Or a small market hockey team. You have to spend wisely, and NC State has done this where we've had really good quarterback play, but the rest of the team didn't come up to that same level, right? And so you'd have like the Wilson years where we had some stuff, but our defense wasn't there. Or we had good defense, but our offense wasn't there. It's really hard to find that balance where you're getting everything right. And because of the NIL world, the transfer portal, it's even more difficult to get that lightning in a bottle. And so that's great if he rises to the occasion, but then you have to pay him now. How much more money can you spend on other players, or however that works?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Completely different.
That is a good point, though. If rolling with CJ Bailey next year,
he's on a bargain.
You don't have to spend money on a quarterback to get. You can use that money to help support him around him. So there's some argument to be made there.
Yeah, I mean, Carson Rivers saying Philip Rivers and Russell Wilson made a bunch of mistakes in the beginning. It's called a process. Like at the end of the day, like I think we're all in agreement that like it's.
But there wasn't a transfer portal.
There's no transfer portal.
I mean, there was a transfer portal. They had to sit out.
They really had no other choice, right? These years, you don't bring somebody in, and CJ Bailey stinks next year, it's going to be a huge issue of why didn't you go get a quarterback?
Well, and that's why I say, go get a guy who started for App State, who's, or maybe like somebody that's like, listen, I want to go play at a Power 5 level and have an opportunity like a Jack Chambers, even though, I mean, the likelihood of him taking over for Devin Leary was super, super small. Like, hey, listen, let me go be there and compete.
But it happened, so you have to assume that it could happen.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why, again, you go get a guy that's not going to cost you $750,000, but a guy that costs you, a couple hundred at most, and so that way he's a guy that also competes against CJ, but also pushes CJ, as well, to make it clear, like, like you are the presumptive guy, but then we have no issues with switching otherwise if you don't perform like we expect you to.
Yeah, so, you don't want a quarterback looking over his shoulder, but you also want him to be pushed to where the old iron sharpens iron,
exactly.
Adage,
Well, because again, also too, because if he's a guy that we expect that Doran gets and brings into his program, he's a guy that understands that, listen, for the sake of the team, we need to have somebody that, gosh forbid, CJ goes down, that it's not, we're we're basically gonna be a running team. We're gonna be at Kentucky this year and run the ball 18 times in a row.
Yeah,
right.
They literally only attempted 6 passes. Like, that was crazy. So sorry, but yeah. So that's my other thought.
Let's focus on that next year. Like we have
I know,
to go win.
Well,
Louisiana
but again,
Tech,
I mean,
I get it. I get it.
And because I mean, it's a legitimate question now with today's day and age and transfer portal. Is like, hey, listen, do you just say, listen, every single year I'm going to go get a Grayson McCall, Brian Armstrong, or do you know?
But because of the portal and the NIL, it almost feels like every year is a must-win year, right?
Yeah,
because because you can, if you've got the funds, you can remake a roster pretty quickly and then put yourself in.
Fans don't want to accept a rebuilding year when it's not.
Well, they don't want to accept it, but they also don't want to accept that they got to pay money for NIL to make it happen either. Yeah. So it's like either you accept the rebuild or you go cha-cha-cha-ching and help, not rebuild, but retool.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and Chilton asked, saying greatly. I mean, a kid cannot develop without being put in a game. Like, at the end of the day, you it's just part of football. It's part of sports. So you have to put a guy again eventually.
Live bullets.
That you're not sure of, but you don't have a lot of that you have some questions on, but you feel confident that over time he's going to be able to learn and he's going to be able to develop. So, but in the last question, y'all, and because I know we're running over, but again, it's been a great conversation.
How about that men's soccer team?
Yeah, that men's soccer team. First of all, got to give a shout to them. Yeah, 3-0-1 right now. They literally have not lost yet. There's no doubt. And we called it. We called it when Mark Hubbard was hired that was a home run hire, and so far, from what we've seen, it's been really, really good so far. I love what we've seen. There's been some awesome results. But the last question, which I do want to ask, is so with NIL, with how much that fans have put into the program, is it understandable that fans are more, again, not necessarily talking out the players, like get the talking out the players out of it, but like somebody like myself, somebody like even you guys who are now investing more money than they ever have in a football program, is it understandable that they're more frustrated and easier to get frustrated than years past?
Yeah, is that absolutely understandable?
If they're doing it the right way, and Greg asked, if they're doing it the right way, right. I mean, Greg, what are your thoughts? Go ahead.
So, a couple of things here. One. Are you contributing? Are you going to games? If the answer is yes, I feel like, and I hate to say there's levels to this, but there kind of is. Just like with the Wolfpack Club and NIL, there's levels to this, right? And
yes, every
dollar counts. So I don't want to diminish that piece of it.
Correct.
But the more you put in, the more invested you are.
Correct.
I feel like you can have a little bit more feelings about it.
Sure.
All right. We all deserve our feelings. I think all of the feelings are valid, but there is a tier to this. And, but here's the other thing that I said on Twitter today about because there's a guy that I engage with a decent amount, and he said something about the NIL and is this a fraud type thing, blah, 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 blah. And I came back, look, yes, you're putting money towards the NIL, and that money goes to players to assist them, whether that's football or any other sport. But remember, just like the Wolfpack Club, there are more so with NIL, it is a membership. You get different things for that membership. You do get, and again, it's not dollar for dollar. Totally get that, but you get merch, right? You get hats, you get cups, you get experiences. They've done the tailgate. The kids, if you're add a little bit extra money to your membership, and you get the kids, Junior Savage Wolves, they're taking the kids and the parent on the field for pregame festivities. So you are getting value for that membership. Now, whether or not there's wins or losses on the field, the court, whatever the playing surface is, you can argue that every day, but you are getting value for your dollar. It just depends. Then at that point are you getting enough value? And that's you can only make that decision.
Right. Agreed. Yeah. Well, and I think that it's kind of one of those things because, one thought that comes to mind is, well, if we get 9 wins this year, then I'm looking at, previous years where I haven't invested money saying, well, I invested, a lot more money and got the same exact results as when I didn't, when I was just a Wolfpack Club member. Where's the, return on investment? Yeah. I'm saying, but here's the point I would say on the other side, which is unfortunately, in today's day and age, it's like that's the bar now. Like it used to be that if you were just a part of the Wolfpack Club, that would be probably pretty much all you need in order to have a successful team. But now, in order to have a successful team in today's day and age, it's going to take, fans like us donating enough money to compete at an NIL level. It's just, unfortunately, that's the new bar. It's been raised. It's just, it is what it is now.
And I just want to address this. We're not putting $7 million in for football. We're barely. I don't think we're putting in $7 million for all of our sports combined. We might be about $5 million.
No.
Yeah, maybe 5 million, 5 or 6 at the very most.
Probably 5.
Probably 5. Agreed. Yeah. No. Agreed.
So anyway, I get the premise of what Brandon's saying here, but if we're putting $7 million in, I guarantee we're getting more than 8 wins. I promise you, we're going to
$7 million. Yeah. $7 million puts you in like top 10 in the country.
Agreed. Yeah. But I get it. Get the premise.
Yep. So, but anyway, y'all. Greg, Michael, any final comments here, y'all, before we wrap this up?
Just beat Louisiana Tech.
Crush their souls. Crush them.
I hate negative Twitter.
Yeah. And I think I tweeted this out because we didn't really talk about it much, but the offensive line.
You're not showing up on my feed anymore, by the way. Like, I used to see all your tweets, so I don't know if
shadow banned.
No, I don't know. It's weird.
Too hot takes.
You now. I have to go look.
No, but I think the offensive line and the offense in general is closer to being really good than it is being really poor, which I think was the consensus coming out of the Tennessee game.
Agreed.
I think the mistakes are easily fixable. They're highlighted more when you go up against one of the best defenses in the country. I think we'll see some of that even out over the course of the year. And I don't get it. I don't blame fans for, being upset or pessimistic after that, but I think there's some context needed there, that just by the fact of your competition level is a big factor, right?
Yeah. But you don't want to go lose by 40.
No. I mean, honestly, I'm saying that this is honestly the second biggest group of 5 game in Dorn's tenure besides Liberty 2021. That was a big game. But I mean, because it's like, I don't think Louisiana Tech, that NC State would ever look at Louisiana Tech as, man, that's a big game. But honestly, right now, Louisiana Tech, that's a big game. We need, just like you said, Michael, we're very close, and I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
But we need to see a great offense against Louisiana Tech.
Right. This is the game. Put all. And here's the thing, and I know we need to wrap, but this is what's going to happen. We go drop 50 on Louisiana Tech, and then it'd be like, you put 50 on Louisiana Tech, but you still lost by 40 to Tennessee. And that's the way Wolfpack Nation thinks. So where I'm going with this is you got to keep stacking. All right. Change. Right, you're not going to change the naysayers by one game. You're going to have to go next week after that and go beat Clemson. And then that group of naysayers, you probably reduce them by 50, right? Or 50%. You're going to have to keep
maybe 50.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just the mindset of NC State fans, right, wrong, or indifferent. Yeah. But it sucks that our athletes see this nonsense, and we need them at their best, right?
Agreed.
They need their minds right. And honestly, if I was an athlete, just delete your damn Twitter accounts.
I would not look at it during the season.
Not even look at it. Yeah, but I get it. They're young, impressionable people. They love finding out what's going on.
Yep.
But
well, and again, I mean, like people say, well, but for NIL value, I'm saying, listen, you can have Instagram, and Instagram doesn't have all the the talking like Twitter does. And if you have 40,000 followers on Instagram, that's worth a good bit from an NIL perspective. So, but
or anyway, at the very least, turn your DMs off. If you're going to stay on there, turn your DMs off because nothing good comes of it.
No, agreed. So, anyway, so again, y'all, appreciate everybody for all the amazing comments for sure. And again, sorry we didn't get to as many as we wanted for sure, but definitely, again, I think it's been a great conversation for sure, and a good one to say the least. So stay tuned, y'all, for plans for this week. We're still working on what kind of content we're putting out this week. Is obviously the game that we just saw kind of, kind of muddied up, man, what do we want to do for this week kind of deal. So again, stay tuned for that. To make sure you do not miss out on whatever we decide to do this week for content, make sure to hit that subscribe button, y'all. Hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever we do go live with any new content for sure.
Go buy some Oconee Gold. That'll make your day better.
Gold. That's right. No, for sure. Go click the link down in the description below.
Tickets.
If you're listening to us on podcast. Yep. Wait, what?
Free tickets.
Free tickets. That's right. Yeah, no, for our giveaway, y'all. Go on our Twitter page. Go enter to win. Again, all you have to do is go retweet that tweet, like it, and then just comment what your favorite Oconee Gold product is, and you'll be entered to win 2 tickets, a free bottle of your favorite Oconee Gold sauce or rub, and then a free parking pass as well to the game this weekend, y'all. So again, go click that link in the description below as well, y'all. Hit that. You can use that coupon code Tuffy Talk to get 15% off your entire order. Benjamin's saying that sauce is so good. Yes, it is, Benjamin. Appreciate that. It is delicioso. And then Michelle saying great show. Appreciate that, Michelle. Y'all are awesome.
Coming in on your Monday night.
That's right. Yeah, Andy saying put 70 y'all in Louisiana Tech. Go crush them, man. I'm
look
telling
here.
you.
Look, all right, listen to this. If we put 70 on them, I'm good for. Look, I don't have a lot of money, but I will donate $70 to the Savage Wolves if we put 70 on them.
I'll even match that. Guess what? We're putting this right now, and for all y'all watching, you can hold us to it. Me and Greg will donate $70.
I'll match.
There we go.
Man. 70. All right. Sorry. So $210, y'all. $70 on the line for each of the 3 of us. If we could put 70 points up on Louisiana Tech, then yes.
Maybe we need to do this every week. No. Like, come up with a number. Like, you know what I mean?
Correct. Well, shoot, Clemson is. If you win against Clemson, I'm donating. Let's do
that. All right. If we beat Clemson, whatever we score is what we'll donate.
I'm okay with that.
We just do that every game.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Right. I'm okay with that. So yeah,
everybody
Andy.
Wins then, right?
So Andy. So for this week, if we score 70, each one of the 3 Tuffy Talk members right here donating $70. And Kyle, get out of here. Louisiana Tech is going to be at State. No shot. If we beat State, or if we lose to Louisiana Tech,
I'll still donate $70.
Because we'll need it at that point. We'll need it more if we lose.
Yeah.
Did you just say the Dorn's buyout? Is that what you said? Jesus. All right, it's time to end the
show. All right, y'all. With that being said,
we'll talk about Dorn's buyout. Yeah, we're really gonna end it.
I know, but anyway, again, that's what I'm saying. I'm not even gonna think about it because it's not gonna happen.
I know. You're just joking.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. We're not gonna lose to Louisiana Tech. So anyway, y'all, again, if you haven't already, make sure you go follow Tuffy Talk now on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, y'all. We love you guys. We'll see y'all soon. Best of luck to everybody on the giveaway, and go Pack, y'all. Beat Louisiana Tech.